No, as I told the group, extremely proud of just the way they prepared. Was able to really kind of block out a lot of noise and go into work. And that's both sides of the ball, right? Like the ability to handle success is a challenge. And the ability to handle criticism is always a challenge. And so I'm proud of both sides of the ball really being able to do that, handle praise and handle criticism. And today was a really good three-phase effort, team win. And just going to try. America told him afterwards, enjoy it. This is what it's about, but let's get back to work and keep getting better. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Front row, Tyler Horka.
Marcus, the defense looked a little shaky again early on. How did they rebound and really shut a good Arkansas offense, down the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think it was the ability to not give up so many explosive plays, right? There was a couple of explosive plays that Arkansas converted. They're a good offense, right? As they're coming into this game, they're top 5 in the country. But I think it was the ability to say, okay, let's not give up we can't give up the explosive. Now, there was some explosive runs that we obviously can't have, but I didn't think they gave up really too many of the explosive play passes. So I think the game plan was simple enough that they could execute at a fast level, played it with great technique and played with passion, got after the quarterback a little bit. Quarterback's really good. He can scramble, he can throw it. I thought they did a good job at affecting me.
Along those lines, the quarterback battle was always going to be a big determinant in this game. C.J. Carr wins it going away. What does it say about him to go into a game like this on the road and be the better QB?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody compares themselves against for him, it's just he's got to compete against himself, right? And how does he get better? How does he, after 3 really good performances, he's getting better. Like, I challenge him, how do you continuously get better in terms of your routine, your preparation? And he prepares his tail off. But that's a reflection of what you see. I mean, he's a talented individual, but he prepares his butt off, and he's playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Staying in the front row, Jack Sobel.
I guess, what did you see in practice and during the week that indicated that the defense really bought into that fight or flight message and was going to have a performance like this?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you, Jack, like this is one thing that this is when I knew. You don't, right? It's a choice that everybody has to make, that this is us. It's not Chris Ash's. It's not Mark. It's all of ours. We own this thing. And if you have that mentality, then you're willing to fix it. If you want to pass blame, then you're never going to do the things it takes to fix it. And I knew the leaders on the defense wouldn't point the finger. They would point it at themselves, and I was very confident that they would stay together. And it was a challenging week. It's easy to pass the blame. That's the easy thing to do, right? And that's the default thing to do. But they stuck together. Leadership from Coach Ash on down to the position coaches, on down to the leaders on the defense, on down to everybody, really was, to me, the thing that helped them get through a rough week and perform better.
When you talk about the leaders in the defense, Adon stripping the ball out at the end of the first half, it looked like the secondary was a lot more aggressive and physical today. Like, what did you see from that group?
Again, I think understanding what they're being asked to do, playing with an aggression and a hungry mentality. I think all those things go into it. I know you guys always want me to give you this one great answer to this is what happens to get them to play. It's a lot of things that go into it. It's a mindset, it's a preparation, it's clarity on what you're being asked to do, and then you got to go out there and do it.
All the way to your left, Tim O'Malley.
Coach, when it was close, I think holding with the 2 field goals when they were kind of approaching the red zone, they were at top tier scoring up offense in the red zone. What was the plan for this week?
It was huge, man. They're a good offense all across the field, and to be able to hold that offense to field goals early in the game. I know the third series they got the touchdown, but then again after that, the 5th series they got another field goal. Like those are 4-point swings, and those is huge. It's huge by our defense, the game plan, but the execution of it.
Just quickly, Jordan Faison's growth as a receiver. He's always been a valuable weapon, but today obviously C.J. Carr's found a rapport with him like he did Fields 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Faze finds a way. You know what I mean? He finds a way. He's a great football player, but he's a great competitor. I'm going to piggyback and just compliment that entire room. It's like, JG, you could throw the ball to JG every play probably, and he's probably going to win most of them. He took advantage of his opportunity, right? It was one-on-one. They threw it up. He did. Malachi Field, same thing. Will Paul. I mean, Coach Brown and Coach Denbrock, it's a little bit of a reflection of the running backs room. That's an unselfish room that knows they can get the ball at any moment. But they choose to continue to put team in front of themselves. If we all do that, we can be pretty special.
Last question opportunity for Coach Pete Sampson.
You mentioned blocking out the noise, whether it's success or criticism. Which is easier to block out? Why do you think both sides of the ball were able to do it?
You like to use my words against me.
Yeah.
You know what? I still go through my experiences. I still think it's a lot harder to handle success than it is adversity. And I say this from the competitive side. I don't mind being with my back against the wall and let's go. But, you know, handling success, is, as you saw us last year, have to learn, as you're seeing us right now, have to continue to remember. You know, when people compliment you all the time and tell you how good you are, how good your offense is, it allows you to maybe become complacent. And once you become complacent, you start to have habits that are below the standards you've set for yourself. And that's the challenge, right? Is do we have the critical eye as coaches and as players that we have after we have adversity? Like, that's the challenge. Like in practice and film, are we grading it? If we just lost or if we didn't play well on defense, the eye you're grading film with, the way you're teaching, the way you're practicing has to be the same as when you have success. And I believe in my heart it's a lot harder to do.
So I guess could you give us some insight specifically about how CJ handles success? Because he's had a lot of it the last couple of weeks.
You know, I think there's very few people that you come in contact with that are blessed with that just leadership, competitive trait. I'm talking like not normal, you know? Very few people have that competitive trait, like that's so competitive that like they just want to find. Listen, here's what the thing is with CJ. It's more important for us to win than it is for him to play well. Right? Like that's his mindset. He's so competitive. I want to do whatever it takes to make sure this offense performs well and we win. That's more important than how many yards I throw for and you know, how many receptions and all those different things. It's like I want to do whatever it takes to win, and he's one of those rare individuals, man, that is just ultra competitive. And I think that's the driving force to his preparation and the way he practices.
The secondary specifically, what was better about you guys as a group today? And what did you see during the week that made you think like, okay, we can put a performance like that on display?
Just attention to detail. Definitely coaches and players had to harp on just details and finishing and, you know, kind of knowing when we're in situations and, you know, having a lot of young guys playing. So, you know, just keeping them confident, keeping their confidence up and just telling them that, you know, when you're out there, you're one.
Marcus, I think, used the phrase simple enough in terms of like the defense. Like, so how much more like dialed in on like doing less better do you think you guys were today than maybe you had been?
Yeah, just kind of just executing the calls that coach calls and, you know, not thinking too much and just playing fast and being violent.
Front row, Tyler Horka.
Going against a really good quarterback today in Taylor Green, what were kind of the keys to slowing him down the way y'all did?
Yeah, just credit to the D-line. You know, the D-line is the best DBs. If they do their job, we're going to do our job. And, you know, just kind of knowing the route concepts that he like in their OC. And, you know, credit to them by just kind of getting him in space and letting him work. But, you know, we just kind of kept him in the pocket and did what we had to do.
From a secondary standpoint, how more in tune were you guys and playing off of each other and understanding assignments and whatnot?
Yeah, as the season goes on, you kind of build a brotherhood, and you know that's kind of the main focus. Like we have to play together and play, you know, for as a unit.
Jack Sobel.
When Arkansas was moving the ball early, I'm sure people on the outside were going, like, here we go again. How are you guys able to stay together and make the adjustments in game they needed?
Yeah, just being calm, cool, and collected, not worrying about what everybody says, and you know, just doing it for the brotherhood and making sure the offense know we got their back and they got our back.
Can you take us through the fumble you forced, like how you're able to get your hand there and strip it out?
Yeah, you know, just the whole game and the whole week we kind of talked about how we need to get the ball. We need to be +2, and you know that's kind of been the focus for me as you know being a leader. Just like talking about it on the sideline. We got to get the ball, and I had finite focus on the ball, and our coaches, like Arkansas, we knew that they were a team that fumbled the ball a lot, so we know once the second man in has to attempt to rip the ball.
Second row, Mike Berardino.
Don, Leonard's meant so much to the secondary, so to do what you guys have done, especially today, but 2 weeks now without him, what's your conversation like with him, and how much confidence is building now among the guys stepping in for him, especially Zachary?
Yeah, definitely want to get Lenny back, but the job has to get done no matter who's on the field, and that's kind of the main focus right now is just whoever's on the field. We have to do their best and be attention to details with everything.
Front row, Tyler Horko.
Marcus was just in here talking about your competitiveness, and he called you a rare individual that comes out on stages like this. How do you elicit that? Because one thing to have it, but like to bring it out every Saturday, how do you go about that?
I don't know. It's kind of not something I really think about, to be honest with you. I feel like growing up, it was never we were never playing with toys or doing things like that. We were always just competing with each other, whether it was my dad and I, my brothers, and so it was just kind of part of who I am. I guess not really a conscious thing.
He was also talking about the wide receivers that you have to throw to. Could be anybody's game, any given Saturdays. What is it like to have an array of guys to go to like that?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Anywhere you look, there's guys that will win one-on-one matchups, and I thought we showed it out there today. And there are still 3 or 4 balls left on the table that we can come down with, and that I can make better throws on, and it can be even more than what we showed. But the talent in that receiver room is unbelievable.
Second row on the right, Tyler James.
CJ, I'm curious, the ends of first halves haven't been great so far this season. Today was obviously different than that. How important do you think that was in terms of sort of setting the tone and establishing how the outcome was going to be?
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction. I thought we handled the end of that first half really well. We put 2 touchdowns back on the board, and then the next step is like, okay, how can we come out of half and start faster than we did? And the middle 8 is so important, and I thought we took a step in the right direction today for sure.
I know you guys didn't score on that drive, but to see Coach Freeman and Coach Biaggi have the confidence to do that fake punt, what does that do for you guys offensively to see them being that aggressive?
It's awesome. I just think the trust Free has in us to do our jobs is unbelievable. We came out on one of the 4th downs later in the first half, and it wasn't a conversation. It was like, all right, we're going for it. I trust you guys. You're the group I want on the field, and so that trust means the world to the offense.
Front row, Jack Sobel.
CJ looked like Ty Washington, he played a lot today, had a couple nice blocks, and looked like he was kind of giving it to the Arkansas sideline. Did he say anything to you guys before the game, and what did you feel like this meant to him?
Yeah, we know, this was a personal game for Ty. We talked about it before. It's a personal game for all of us, just because we want to win so badly, but it just meant a little bit more to Ty, and I think because it meant more to Ty, it meant more to the team, and you saw him out there just killing people in the blocking game, and then just doing all he could for the team to achieve team glory. And it was great to see him and hug him on the sidelines after that win, because I know just how much it meant to him.
To your left, Tim O'Malley.
Last touchdown of the half was the backbreaker, I think, for them, Dario Price. I mean, I know he made some magic on the play, but what was the design of that play? Were you just looking to get it a little closer for one more shot, and then he found the hole?
Yeah, it was. It's a 2-way screen, so we can throw it to the field or the boundary there, and we're reading the mic. And the mic didn't flow at all, so just kind of whipped it out to him. And with Jadarian and Jay Love in the back, those little screens are, you don't know what can happen. And I feel like we've seen Jadarian do that his whole career here. I remember Purdue last year. It's like end of the half, we're gonna run a mid zone to the left, and he breaks it for 60 yards. And it's like at any point, those two can take these balls, as far as they need to go.
It's a group effort, but I wanted to ask you about Faison, because I don't think I ever saw him as a guy that's going to be a volume receiver, but you seem to really have found a rapport with him where it's not just a weapon. He is now a guy that is consistently making plays down mid-range and downfield. What is it about Faison's improvement? I think 6 first downs on 7 throws to him today.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, he's improved for sure, but I feel like we've always had that faith in him that he can be a guy we go to at any point. I describe him in the quarterback room. We talk about it as like it's like he's got a lucky clover in his back pocket every time because he's always in the right place. He's always doing what he should do. And then when you get the ball in his hands, it's like the body control to make a guy miss, and he's always falling forward. It's just our Mr. Consistent, you know.
Last question for CJ, Sabrina Hoover.
Today's game was a historic matchup. Obviously, Notre Dame taking on Arkansas for the first time in program history. Were you able to kind of take it all in on the field, really?
Yeah, I think it was cool. This is my first SEC opponent game, and coming down here, the atmosphere is electric, and the fans were going in those first few drives, and it was also really good to quiet them, and after a while, the stands started to go away. But it was really cool to be the first matchup